a whole lot of questions still unanswered. Sir Owen Disney here, and it is Tuesday, and we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw from last night, and really don't have much housekeeping to go into. I still don't know what's going on with The World's End and You're Next. Hopefully I'll know tomorrow before the day's over. B-Dubs tomorrow night. Wednesday we're watching The Mortal Instruments, and Thursday depends on what happens. So Athens ended up getting 10 o'clock showings for The World's End and You're Next. Hopefully we'll get something like that so we can watch The World's End. I don't really care about watching You're Next early. I'm probably going to watch that Friday morning anyway, so there's always that. Now, my Magic Band is going to be shipping tomorrow, so yay, that's awesome. And in one more day, my Follow the Buzzards Wyatt family shirt will be shipping, so yeah, that's awesome as well. So, unfortunately, I won't have the new Daniel Bryan shirt or the new CM Punk shirt before I leave, so I'm just going to have to stick with the old ones, so there's always that. Let's talk Raw, shall we? Well, John Cena comes out to start the show. And I know everyone's a little bit confused about that, given the fact that everyone knew that John Cena is going to be going away for quite a long time to rehab his elbow. Didn't know exactly what the ramifications of this was, but we knew that it was going to be happening sooner rather than later. So when Cena comes out, I'm kind of like, this is his farewell address before he comes back. Probably way too early. No. I think this time John Cena's actually being sincere. He's going to stay off television and get better. So that way he comes back bigger and better than ever. And you can read anything into that you'd like to, but I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to say he's going to be better than ever, so we'll go there. So Cena comes out and says, I agree. And I'm completely disgusted in what happened last night at SummerSlam. Last night, Daniel Bryan, he earned that WWE Championship by defeating me clean. And I want to thank him for bringing out the best in me. 2 weeks ago, WWE medical staff said it's a torn tricep. That's why this baseball-size bump on my elbow is a result of a torn tricep. He said it'd be okay if they just cancel the match at SummerSlam. But John Cena's like, no, I'm not going to do this. He's like, that's not an excuse. Last night I was defeated by a better man in a clean fight. And tonight, I leave the World Wrestling Entertainment, once again, that just sounds horrible, leave the WWE to get my surgery. And as I'm gone for the next 4 to 6 months, off to go get healthy again, I wanted to bring out Daniel Bryan. So he brings out Bryan, and Bryan walks out. He's not doing his taunts. He's not smiling. He's very somber, to be totally honest, and justifiably so after what happened to him on Sunday night. Cena just bums out. He leaves. So Bryan gets to speak. Before Bryan can speak, he's interrupted by Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie comes out before Bryan can even say one word. I'm sorry, Daniel, last night that when you won the WWE Championship clean, you didn't really deserve what happened to you. And don't blame Triple H, because he did only what's best for business. And Bryan's like, best for business? Triple H was the last man I thought that would do this to me. But you know what they say, Stephanie? When you lie down with trash, sooner or later, you start to stink. Bryan continues on and says, I'm not afraid of being fired. As a matter of fact, you fire me, I'll go to an armory, and I'll go to every single building, and I'll wrestle my way each and every night because I'm a wrestler. But before I do leave and go away, I'll make sure I give you a real reason to fire me. So Stephanie's like, we don't want you to be fired. We have nothing but high hopes for you at this point. And basically says, not everyone can be the face of the company. Or not everyone can be WWE Championship material. Sure, the WWE Universe loves you. You're not an A. But you're a solid B+. See, Stephanie is kind of starting to remind Daniel of another B word right now. So, of course, everybody in the Anaheim building start chanting, "Bitch, it's Stephanie." So that's pretty much what works, because that's what she's acting like, a female dog. So Bryan gets up in her face and says, "I can be WWE champion. I don't care what you think." So he slaps the mic out of her hand. He's like, "Bryan, you need to calm down." He's like, "You've done this to yourself. Security." So indie worker security comes down the ramp, and Stephanie goes, "You have no one to blame here but yourself." So Bryan leaves on his own volition, and he starts chanting, "No! No! No!" That's the end of the first segment. Questions immediately, but we'll get to that later. First wrestling match of the evening, a rematch from SummerSlam. Cody Rhodes taking on the SmackDown Money in the Bank briefcase holder, Damien Sandow. So Cody hits a springboard dropkick on Sandow and clotheslines him over the top rope to the floor. He snap suplexes him on the floor, tosses him back in, and goes for a cover 1-2 and a kick out. So whip in, caught a back elbow. Sandow sends him over the top rope, and he clubs him in the back of the neck when he goes outside to follow him out. So he tosses him back in, snap suplex 1-2 and a kick out. So there's a headbutt, shoulder in the midsection. Cody goes up top, and Sandow wrist drags him off the top rope 1-2 and a kick out. So he goes for a cover when we come back to commercial break. Chin lock, he punches his way out, he comes off the rope, Sandow with a knee lift, side California leg sweep, Kobe toe hockey at the elbow of disdain, 1-2 and a kick out. So he crotches Cody on the top rope backwards, climbs up, looks like he's going for a belly to back superplex, but Cody punches out of it, elbow and a nice standing moonsault from Cody Rhodes. Didn't look like he got all of it though. Goes for a clothesline, he ducks it, high back body drop, two big clotheslines, and whip in, reverse. Cody drops down, hits the uppercut, and jackknife cover 1-2 and a kick out. Goes for crossroads. Sandow snapmares out of it. Goes for the old, I guess you would call it the educator or the Carino driver, or basically he just takes the back of the neck, like he holds onto the ears, or holds on the neck in this case, and slams backwards sitting out with it. If you didn't know what I was talking about. Sandow whips him in. Cody with a tip-up, turn around and a sunset flip, 1-2 and 3. So Cody beats his former Rhodes Scholars tag team partner yet again. Like I said on the SummerSlam recap, always job out the briefcase holder. It makes total sense when he cashes in out of nowhere somewhere down the road. So, apparently Dolph Ziggler mouthed off Triple H on Twitter, and he said he never really trusted him at all, especially when he entered the company. And Brad Maddox, in his infinite wisdom, given the fact that he is the general manager of Raw, comes out and says, "Dolph, we're going to give you the perfect chance to show off in a handicap match against The Shield." Basically, he said he was doing it so he could show off, and only it's being done is because Triple H got butthurt by the comments, and that's the reason why that this match is happening. So Paul Heyman comes out wearing an arm sling, of course, selling the fact that he was locked in the Anaconda Vice during the SummerSlam match with Punk and Lesnar last night, or 2 nights ago, I guess you could say, since it's Tuesday now. He's like, "I'll admit, CM Punk gave Brock Lesnar all he could handle. But you know what? It's now time to end this family feud. This is the time for forgiveness. CM Punk, I forgive you. And when you apologize to me, I'll be more than happy to take you back. Together we will achieve heights much greater than ever before. You want to be the main event of WrestleMania? I can make that happen. I can guide you back to the WWE Championship. CM Punk, I still love you, and together we will be the best in the world." Well, that remains to be seen, doesn't it? Next match of the evening, still promoting the Total Divas reality show that is 10 p.m. on the E! Network on Sunday, which I missed this week due to SummerSlam, but I got to catch up on that. I also got to catch up on the Who's Line for the last 2 weeks. I wasn't able to watch that either. So we end up getting a matchup with Cameron and Naomi, the Funkadactyls, taking on the Divas champion, cute and crazy AJ Lee, and Layla. So, basically before this matchup, they run into Nikki and Brie Bella, and they said, "You're representing our show, so don't mess up." So, of course, we do a little catty comments back and forth, and that's the end of that. We get to the ring. AJ hits a reverse neck breaker on Naomi, and nails her with a spin kick, 1-2, and a kick out. So sleeper on the back, and Naomi turns it around, leaping enziguri kick, tagging to Layla, who drop kicks Cameron off the apron before she can get tagged in. Layla gets rolled up from behind, 1, 2, and of course she gives away before the 3 count, but the 3 count's still administered because that's finish, and the Funkadactyls win this match. Yet again, we have the same problem as before. The hold is not held in long enough for the actual 3 count or submission hold in the last case to be administered. So it looks a little bit, I'll use the word jakey in this case. I don't know why I would, but this is what we're going to go with. So we get our next match, which is the handicap match of the Shield taking on Dolph Ziggler. And Ambrose goes for a sleeper. Dolph with a jawbreaker with the counter, tagging to Roman Reigns. Reigns get caught with a standing drop kick, reverse neck breaker, goes for the name dropper, and Ambrose gets tossed over the top rope to the floor after Dolph knocks Seth Rollins off the ring apron. Rollins seems to hurt his, it looked to me like he hurt his ankle, to be totally honest. But he's also kind of favoring his, his upper leg or maybe even his knee, so it doesn't look like very good waters for Seth Rollins right now. So he comes in and spike DDT on Roman Reigns. Rollins comes in, makes the save right before the 3 count can be administered. Suplex. Rollins gets knocked to the floor. Dolph charges in for the big splash in the corner, and he gets speared out of his boots. 1, 2, 3. And after the match is over, the Shield triple powerbomb Dolph Ziggler and leave him laying. After all this time, the triple powerbomb has yet to be officially named something here on Pop. Obviously, Ambrose's Bulldog driver, I have deemed justice is served. So, I think what I'm probably going to do is, in the next couple times, I'm going to try to come up with an actual finisher title for the Shield's triple powerbomb. I'm thinking a little bit like maybe Judgment Day or something like that, or Final Judgment or something like that. Something that involves the word judgment. I think that actually might be a possibility. But we'll talk about that later. So, weird sinuses, sorry about that. Here's an interesting match. World Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio taking on Sin Cara. Well, I didn't really get to write much in this match. Why? Because it didn't go very long. And Sin Cara goes for a tope on the outside. And when he connects, it looks like what happened was he broke maybe one of his fingers, or maybe both of his fingers. So, apparently, that was the end of that match. And when he connected, he bent his fingers back. I couldn't really tell in the recap, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And the referee threw up the X, and that was the end of the match. So Del Rio was legitimately mad about this and cursed up a storm, and it had to be censored by USA. So he gets on the mic, and he makes a negative into a positive and says, "Finally, Latinos have someone to cheer for. See, they have no heroes, but I will be the man who represents them." And then all of a sudden, you hear some very familiar dulcet tones. Alberto Del, and Ricardo Rodriguez comes out. Remember me? You know what? Del Rio, you're not a hero to anyone. And I'm very happy I don't have to represent you anymore. As a matter of fact, you are a disgrace. I represent somebody new. And right away, and even the crowd picks up on it, because I heard some chants. You can't tell me you didn't, because if you're hearing it like I did, then you heard some chants. Someone was mentioning Rey Mysterio, who obviously needs somebody to be his mouthpiece. Totally not what I was thinking. He announces his new charge, Rob Van Dam. And I will give this up to Joey Styles. Joey Styles said something on Twitter that absolutely made me laugh hysterically when I read it. So I'm going to read it verbatim because this is too good not to read verbatim. Let me talk about it real quick. Joey Styles, during Raw, live tweeted this comment, and I want to go with it. So, give me 1 second to find it. So, where are you? Where's the Rob Van Dam? There you go. I predict that the new pairing of at the Real RVD and at RRWWE will reach new heights. There's no telling how high they'll get. Hashtag Raw. Thumbs up Joey Styles for coming up with such a brilliant, very necessary comment to be totally made. We know we make that comment every time we hit the 5-star. Nobody gets higher than Rob Van Dam. Just like back in the Indies, when I used to manage him, no one gets higher than Smokey C, but that's another story altogether. Joey's fun to listen to his tweets during Raw, so I recommend checking out Joey Styles on Twitter. He's actually quite funny. So that was a funny comment. Speaking of 5-star, Van Dam comes in, Del Rio attacks him, Van Dam gets the upper hand, he turns the tables, standing sidekick, and drops Del Rio. Goes up top for the 5-star, Del Rio powders and lives to fight another day as Van Dam and Ricardo are left in the ring. This is interesting, because this completely came out of nowhere. The thing about it is obviously we know that when Rob Van Dam was tops in ECW, he was never without Bill Alfonso. And Fonzie with the whistle, always out at ringside with Van Dam. Now, Van Dam has Ricardo in his corner. This is very interesting, and I think this definitely sets up Rob Van Dam to challenge Del Rio at Night of Champions next month with the World Championship on the line. And I do think that if they were not giving the championship to Christian, who of course is a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, former TNA alumnus, they'll give the title to another former TNA superstar and former TNA World Heavyweight Champion in Rob Van Dam. So that's what I think is going to happen. Either way, Del Rio would have lost to a former TNA guy, and I'm pretty sure Van Dam is going to beat him with Ricardo's help at Night of Champions. That's pretty much what we're building towards. Next matchup, the Real Americans taking on the Primetime Players. And given the media hype that Darren Young has right now, and props to D. Young for being able to be himself and not let it affect his job. And props to WWE for not doing anything like crazy, like putting Darren Young in a dress or anything like that. They went with it very conservatively. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even mentioned on commentary or by Zeb Coulter when they easily could have went that direction. And it's funny because I think they will go that direction, but not quite yet. Maybe before too long, but not quite yet. This is just a paint-by-numbers tag match, and it worked really well for me. Primetime Players now officially turned babyface. I do not have a problem with this. And, of course, they face off against the Real Americans, Antonio Cesaro and Jack Swagger. So Swagger really did much in this match. Front slam, goes for a Swagger bomb, tags Cesaro. Cesaro comes in with a double boot stomp, 1-2, and a kick out. So he goes to the chin lock, and he tags in Swagger. Whip in reversed, big-time spine buster on Jack Swagger. Tag into Darren Young, tag into Cesaro, whip in, clothesline, overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Charges in with the clothesline, ducks it, Northern Light suplex from Darren Young. Swagger makes a save in the nick of time. Titus tossed over with the gut wrench over the top rope, so he's not a favor, not a factor in the match. And Darren Young picks him up, fireman's carry into the double gut buster. They call it the gut check. That's funny. And 1, 2, 3, the Primetime Players win this matchup, and they inch even closer towards an eventual WWE Tag Team title reign, which I've been talking about happening for the last year, so it's finally going to happen very soon. So, apparently the Big Show ran his mouth on Twitter about Triple H. So, what's going to happen? Brad Maddox comes out and he says, you know, there's going to be another handicap match against the Shield, but this time, the Shield are allowed to have all 3 men in the ring at one time. Big Show says, do you really want to do that to the Shield? So, that's where we go. Okay, I want to talk about this. They're putting over Foot Locker, because there's this awesome contest where you can win a trip for 2 to a WWE pay-per-view event. Foot Locker's putting on this contest, and I've already entered this contest, and I know exactly who I'd pick if I win this contest. And I'm pretty sure you guys can figure it out if you know me well enough. We'll see. But I have to win first. So, Zack Ryder and Justin Gabriel are talking to some guy about Foot Locker. They bring up these orange sneakers, and Ryder's like, oh, this matches your gear and everything. And Ryder's like, this is pretty sick. And all of a sudden, the music starts, and just like on SummerSlam, Fandango comes in with the absolutely stunning Summer Rae, and they dance right in front. And it's hilarious because they're putting over the shoes. He's like, "Can you dance in them?" And he's like, "Yes, absolutely, you can." He's like, I like these sneakers." And he's like, "Yeah, they're really great shoes." And he's like, "Why are you not dancing?" And then Fandango starts dancing, and then all of a sudden, he grabs the sneakers, takes them away, and it makes me laugh hysterically. So, yes. Anytime I see Fandango and Summer Rae on my screen, Owen's a happy guy. So we get our handicap match with the Big Show against the Shield. Obviously, given the fact the Show is over 7 feet tall and over 500 pounds, he's actually in great shape right now. He is definitely in better shape than he was the last time he was on television, that's for sure. And he's definitely a lot faster in the ring. He's a lot quicker in the ring than he was. So Shield, of course, holds his own for quite a while. He tosses Rollins over the top, and Rollins, of course, still favoring the ankle. So Show harpoons Roman Reigns, and the Shield powder to regroup. Ambrose comes in, jumps on the back of the Big Show with a big-time sleeper hold. Big Show falls back, Bam Bam Bigelow style, and Rollins comes in, headbutt by the Show, sends him down. Another headbutt, and he stands on Rollins' back. They toss him over the top, clothesline whip in, and he rams his butt into the face, and shoulder tackle, goes for the goozle, sitting up for the choke slam, and Rollins clips the knee out from under him. Ambrose with a front drop kick, and Rollins hits the knee strike off the top, 1-2 and a kick out. They go for a double suplex. It's blocked. Show double suplexes both Rollins and Ambrose. And, of course, Reigns, they need to pay attention to where he is, and he comes in and he spears the Big Show, and they triple powerbomb the Big Show. They hold their legs down. They dogpile the Big Show, 1-2-3, and the Shield wins. So, another thing I saw on Twitter tonight that was really funny that, and those of you that said the Shield aren't getting pushed, you need to pay attention to the show, to be totally honest. So this is interesting. CM Punk limps out next, and I do mean limps. And I know about limping, because I know all about hobbling, because I know all about having pain in my feet. So Punk showing his beating from the match against Brock Lesnar, the fight against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam Sunday night. Punk's just pissed off, to be totally honest. He wants to take it out on everyone. So he starts to talk, starts a promo, and all of a sudden this mark in the front row, I think he might have been in the second or third row, I couldn't really tell, because I kind of glanced up and saw it and I was trying to write his promo. So basically he comes in and he is booing Punk to his face. So Punk pretty much just takes it against himself to go after this fan legitimate. So he dares the fan to fight him. And he says, "Be a man, or just sit down and be a bitch. Shut your mouth." So the fans, of course, are completely against this mark, and Punk is definitely letting him have it. He's like, "And if apology is what you want, then maybe you'll get what you desire, because you said you can get me the WWE Championship. You said you can get me back to the main event of WrestleMania. I want both of these things, so I'll give you your apology if you come right out right now." So he calls Paul Heyman out, and he comes out with Curtis Axel, still wearing the barely defended Intercontinental Championship. "You know, I lost a fight last night, but I'm still standing. And I'm sorry I took my eyes off Brock Lesnar for a split second just to enact some revenge on you. I will get my revenge right now here in Anaheim. Fight me like a man." So Heyman's like, "CM Punk, I'm sorry for what's about to happen to you. Axel, go in the back and tape up for a fight. See, this ends tonight. I can be one of your worst nightmares. After commercial, if you're still in this ring, Curtis Axel is going to finish what Brock Lesnar started last night." So that's what we get. We get a non-sanctioned, no referee, absolute street fight with CM Punk and Curtis Axel. And this is very Ring of Honor. This is very independent. And someone mentioned that on Twitter, and I'll give them credit for that. So this is really awesome. Axel gets backdropped over into the land of Justin Roberts, you know, the barricade that he chills out in. And he walks towards Heyman, and Heyman, of course, backpedaling the whole time. Tope over the barricade, and he hits him with a suitcase at ringside, and then he grabs the ring bell, nails Axel in the ribs with it, tosses him back in, goes for go to sleep, gets countered. Axel clips the knee out from under him, chair into the back of the knee, and then right in the kneecap, so he's driving the chair in, not to the swing, he's driving it in, so that's pretty much what's going on right now. He hits the hatchet on Punk. He goes to the middle rope, trying to Pillmanize the ankle of CM Punk. And, of course, Punk rolls out of the way, grabs a chair, nails him in the ribs, then the lower back, tosses Axel into the ring steps on 2 separate occasions. He picks him up in the fireman's carry, and instead of the go to sleep, he drops Axel face first on the ring steps. And Heyman backpedals slowly but surely as CM Punk stands triumphant. We find out next we're getting the Raw in-ring debut of Bray Wyatt. And that's always an awesome thing. So Bray Wyatt comes in, and Bray Wyatt is going to go one-on-one against R-Truth. So, this is funny. Truth, of course, already got squashed by Bray Wyatt before, so, yeah, this is just adding to it. So Bray Wyatt comes in, and he attacks. Truth gets some upper hand for about 2 seconds, and then, of course, he gets taken down. Wyatt comes off the ropes with like a body check, like a cross body to the ribs, kind of like what Brodus Clay used to do, like the Fall of Humanity. And he bends himself upside down in the corner like he is trying to exorcise the demons. And he charges in, big time avalanche, and he dances around with the prone body of R-Truth, kiss of death, Sister Abigail, and that's the end. So Bray Wyatt, very short squash match against R-Truth. Interesting to see where they go with the Wyatt family from here. I have an idea for what they could do, but obviously they have to turn the Wyatt's face, and I don't think that's going to happen. At least not in the foreseeable future, so we'll talk about that later. Next match ends up a tag team match. The Usos taking on Jinder Mahal and Heath Slater of the 3-man band. Drew McIntyre at ringside, of course. Still sporting probably some minor injuries from the fight with him and Alberto Del Rio they had over the weekend, and of course a lot of people talking about that. Del Rio has that shiner under his eye from the fight, and apparently Drew helped Del Rio, so it wasn't Del Rio and Drew fighting like was reported earlier. Apparently they were fighting off some marks, so kind of like how Shawn Michaels was fighting in Syracuse. That's another story altogether. So, Slater with a chin lock on Jimmy Uso. Uso punches his way out, scoop slam, lands on his feet, and he catches the foot, spin around, enziguri kick, tagging to Jinder Mahal, tagging to Jey Uso, forearm off the ropes, back kick, whip in, reverse shoulder, and the diving forearm in the corner. He hits the running butt splash in the corner, 1-2, and a kick out as Heath Slater makes a save. Savate kick on Jinder, tag, while suicide diving onto Drew McIntyre on the floor. Excuse me, Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal on the floor, and Samoan Splash, 1-2-3, and that's the end of this. So, once again, nice highlight on the tag team division tonight. I was very happy to see that. Here's our final match of the evening, The Miz taking on Wade Barrett. So, Miz with a flapjack doesn't look very good, Matthew on line 1. Miz line in the corner, goes for the crown, and Barrett's out of the way. Of course, they've worked together so many times when they were feuding over the Intercontinental Championship. Big boot, 1-2, and a kick out. Chokes him on the middle rope, and, he ties him up in the ropes, and the knee strikes, and then the big boot sends the Miz to the floor. He comes out with the Cactus Jack hip buster off the apron, tosses Miz back in, 1-2, and a kick out. Barrett locks on a chin lock, and Miz elbows out of it. He tosses him over the top, he lands on the ring apron, Miz slides in with a sunset flip, and 2 count only. So back elbow by Barrett, snapmare into a cover, 1-2, and a kick out. So chin lock, again Miz elbows out of it, turns it around, counters with a jawbreaker, boot in the midsection, whip reverse, clothesline, which is ducked, comes off, flying forearm, knee lift, and a clothesline on Barrett. So kick to the hamstring in the corner, and he nails a leaping drop kick into the corner, goes for the figure 4, Barrett kicks him off, he puts him on the top, and it gets reversed into a top rope sunset flip, turned around into the figure 4 leg lock. He's got it locked on. Barrett's about to tap, and all of a sudden, completely out of nowhere, Fandango comes in with the perfect 10, the guillotine leg drop, and leaves the Miz laying. So him and Summer Rae dance, and to the delight of the Anaheim crowd as they're Fandangoing all over the place, and that's the end of this match. Of course, Miz wins by DQ. Here's the thing. I mentioned in the SummerSlam video this was building towards a Miz-Fandango feud, and that's exactly what we're getting, folks. And I don't have a problem with that as long as they put the right guy over. And at this stage, Fandango is the right guy to go over. I said, and I meant it, Fandango will be a singles champion of some sort before 2013 is over. I truly believe that's going to happen. I thought he was going to win Money in the Bank, and it looked like it easily could have happened, but they probably changed their mind on it. And it looked like he was going to win the Intercontinental Championship, then he got injured. So, needless to say, he ended up facing in Money in the Bank, and he lost. So now he's got to get his heat back, and that's exactly what he's doing, slowly but surely, and he's turning the fans back on his side yet again. So, that's good. Final segment, Randy Orton's coronation. So, Triple H, Vince McMahon, and Stephanie McMahon come out, and they're in the ring. The Shield, of course, are standing guard at the entrance ramp, pretty much not allowing for anyone to come in, and the entire roster, save the Wyatt family, are all on the top of the ramp. Triple H, of course, will not give an explanation. He says, I did what I did for all of you to ensure the future of the WWE. I did it for Vince McMahon. I did it for Jess McMahon. I did it for Vince Sr. I did it for everyone in his family. Bryan deserved to win. He deserved to beat John Cena. But the WWE Champion, the face of the entire company, fans, of course, are chanting yes at this point. Triple H does not agree. No, you deserve better. I gave you A+. It hurt me personally to do that with Bryan. There is no love lost between him and I, him being the new WWE Champion. I buried my personal feelings for what was right for business. And he says, Daniel, your personal problem is simply selfish. Brings out Randy Orton. Orton comes out, and the only people applauding on the top of the ramp are Teddy Long and Brad Maddox. How appropriate. So, he shakes hands with Vince, and then reluctantly with Triple H, and then he goes to look at Stephanie, and Stephanie hugs him. Orton's like, I told you so. I told you when I cashed in, you would not see it coming. Triple H, I owe a lot of this to you. Yeah, the whole thing. So he calls Daniel Bryan out, and he says, Shield, move to the side, you're a little bit intimidating. So he's like, Shield guys, move to the side, you're a little intimidating. So Bryan comes out, and the Shield jump him. Bryan fights him off, and he buzzsaw kicks Rollins, and he flips Ambrose on the ramp. He comes out, and he doesn't realize, obviously, there's another guy in the Shield that he was not accounting for, and he gets speared out of his boots from Roman Reigns. They go to pick him up for the triple powerbomb. Triple H stops it and says, no, let him get in the ring and say his piece. So Bryan slowly but surely gets in the ring, and Triple H is mocking him, Vince is mocking him, and everybody's mocking him in the ring. He gets in the ring. No sooner he gets in the ring, Randy Orton lays him out with the RKO. So the new corporation raised their arms in the air, and that's the end of Raw. Okay. Let's talk about this, slowly but surely. Alright. John Cena's gone. John Cena's gone for at least 4 months. So John Cena could be, at the earliest, potentially returning at the Royal Rumble. You know, kind of like last year. And, well, actually it was the year before, the year that he won. Anyway, comes back and he wins the Rumble. So Cena's gone. Sheamus is out. So Cena and Sheamus are both out. Randy Orton just turned heel. The top babyface in the company is Daniel Bryan, without any question. Then you got Punk. Then you have Dolph Ziggler. And then to a lesser extent, you have like The Big Show and Mark Henry. And hopefully they'll push him more on the SmackDown side, but I can still see him being a factor, and that's Cody Rhodes, which is awesome, because I really like seeing Cody Rhodes get pushed. So WWE is hurting for strong baby faces right now. Daniel Bryan is more than capable of covering this. You need to have a credible group go after this new corporation. Now, everyone said it was going to be Triple H versus Vince at WrestleMania, one way or another, someone representing Vince against Triple H. So, I don't know if we're still going that direction or not. If you're going to turn Vince, gasp, a babyface, you have to do it, and you have to do it soon. It's funny that actually Matt Hardy brought this up on Twitter, and it's really interesting he brought this up. Bryan is actually getting the Stone Cold run right now. And I like this. I like this completely, because he's fighting authority, he's fighting adversity, and him getting beat down by everyone is going to build him and build him and build him and build more sympathy for him. And by the time you have so much sympathy for Daniel Bryan, what's going to happen is he's going to win the WWE Championship back, and he's going to keep it for a long, long time. Once he wins that championship back from Randy Orton, he's going to keep it for quite a while. And he's going to beat everybody in his path. And I'm almost positive that's exactly what's going to happen. And that's the right direction to go. So Cena's out. Bryan's now the focus of the company. So now you have the new corporation leading towards Randy Orton, Triple H, Stephanie, and Vince. So they're all here, and to a lesser extent, Brad Maddox. So this was fine. The opening was just fine for me. I had no problems with it. I do like how, like I said, they're building Bryan. They're building Bryan as a very sympathetic babyface. That's exactly what you have to do. Bryan is just exactly what Stephanie called him in the promo tonight. Bryan is the ultimate underdog. And they're going to build that, and build that, and build that. And right now, he's coming in, and Bryan is getting beat down, but he's going to get his revenge eventually. There's money to be made with Bryan chasing. See, great booking is you take a heel, a credible heel champion, and you have the babyface chase and chase and chase. Kind of like what happened last week. Actually, not last week, but Sunday night. Think about this. Okay, as all of you guys, or most of you guys know out there, I used to be a manager. I used to be a heel manager. So, excuse me. Excuse me. Like, I need to get something to drink here. I managed tag teams. It was rare that I would manage a singles guy, but usually I managed tag teams. And there was a feud. My tag team, which was the Lynch Boys against Team Gay. And this is the only time that I'm going to use the word team involved with a tag team name, because that's what it was. It was Gay against the Lynch Boys. And this was a big feud. And I would run away every single time. And Alan West would always be able to save me before JC and Shane got their hands on me. And right before Shane was about to pop me, someone would always nail him from behind, either Alan or Wes, and then I get saved, and the fans would get screwed out of me getting my comeuppance. Well, I got my comeuppance from Shane and JC via the fact of a Russian leg sweep off the ladder from Shane when we were doing a ladder match at City Park Pavilion. So there is money to be made with comeuppance coming to a heel. Like, there should be money to be made with Bryan chasing, and Bryan needs to chase and chase and chase and overcome adversity, one thing after another. And once we get to the end of this, the end game is Bryan winning, and everyone knows this. But it's going to be an awesome run on the road. It's going to be an awesome road down the road. Wow, that's really redundant. Because it's going to be really awesome to see what they put in Bryan's path. Now, I called New Evolution. Everybody's mentioning that. You know, I pretty much softened on that. We got a new corporation. That's exactly what it is. It sounds to me like we're building up to be Triple H, Vince, and Stephanie leading Randy Orton and potentially the Shield. Remember the thing I talked about with the corporation with John Cena going heel? Same exact situation, except what you do is you don't turn Cena heel, keep Cena babyface, and it's Randy Orton and the Shield as the corporation. I don't have a problem with this at all. Now, this was mentioned on Twitter, and I mentioned this on a video a while back. What if, and this can't happen right now because obviously they're heels. I mean, well, I guess, well, they've done heelish things to people, but I guess they're trying to cleanse them and brainwash them, so I guess that makes sense. But what if Daniel Bryan enlists the help of the Wyatt family to take out the Shield? I'd love this. This would be awesome, but not yet. If you're going to turn the Wyatt's face, you need to do this. But you're not going to turn the Wyatt's face for quite a while. And I think the Shield and the Wyatt family are going to completely stay apart from each other for quite some time. And that's how it should be, because obviously they don't need to be crossing paths quite yet. You could tease it a little bit if you really want to, but you don't have them cross paths yet, because once they do, it's going to be awesome. Seeing Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose in the ring together is going to be great. So, Cody has more momentum against Damien Sandow yet again. So Sandow, of course, has to get the win the next time they meet. Makes complete sense. And like I said, I think Sandow is going to get frustrated to the point that he's going to end up putting the case on the line at Night of Champions against Cody Rhodes. I've called this. It's going to happen. So, basically, Brad Maddox is the errand boy as the Raw General Manager, and he gets to deal out the punishments to, in this case, Dolph Ziggler and Big Show. Big Show, of course, makes the announcement that him and Mark Henry most definitely are going after Reigns and Rollins and the WWE Tag Team Championships, which makes sense. Dolph still not really doing anything, but now you've had Dolph get attacked, so Dolph now has heat with the Shield. So, I know it's a step down, but if you really want to, you can feud Ambrose and Dolph for the U.S. title, I guess. I mean, you could do this. I mean, it is a step down, without question. Since apparently you're moving Del Rio to Rob Van Dam as his next challenger, why not? I mean, in the meantime, until you're ready to build Dolph again and put him back into the world title hunt, which it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon, this is what you do in the meantime. You feud Dolph with Ambrose, and you build up the heat they have. And then you can do Dolph, Big Show, and Mark Henry against the Shield on SmackDown this week. And, of course, we lead towards Dolph and Ambrose at Night of Champions with the U.S. title on the line. I think that's a good idea. So, Curtis Axel actually showed some guts tonight, and he went toe-to-toe with Punk, and he got laid out for it, but he still put up quite a fight. So I mentioned that, what are you going to do? You're going to feud Curtis Axel with Punk? It's a step down, but Axel's in the driver's seat right now, and this is the time for him to actually shine. And that's what you have to do. You have to get Axel over slowly but surely, and that's exactly what you're going to do. Paul Heyman's a miracle worker. I really think that Joe Hennig or Michael McGillicuddy is going to be very crucial, but you have to build him. You have to build him. And you really haven't yet. You gave him the Intercontinental Championship, but that's it. That's all you're doing. You don't have him even defending the thing anymore, to be totally honest. So, yeah, there's always that. So, I was happy to see the Primetime Players turn babyface, and they had a really good match up against the Real Americans or Zeb's Militia, depending on who calls the match, if it's me or someone else. The thing about it is I love the Usos, I do, but I'm sick and tired of seeing them face the Real Americans every week, so it was really nice to see a different babyface tag team. And speaking of babyface tag teams, something I didn't mention during the recap, Los Matadores, which is the repackaged Primo and Epico, wearing something that looks like a mixture of Tito Santana's El Matador character, mixed with Buff Bagwell's old handsome stranger, throw in a little bit of Aldo Montoya turned to pink, and that's what you got. So a little Aldo, a little Tito, and you have what you got there. So a little Aldo, a little Tito, a little handsome stranger equals Los Matadores. So, yeah, they're going to probably inject themselves in the WWE Tag Team division. I guess they're also babyfaces, too. I don't know if Rosa Mendez is going to be with them this time. I would guess not. But I guess you could play her off as kind of like a Salma Hayek or a Sofia Vergara type, if you want to do that. If you really want to do that direction. Have her with, like, a Rose. Kind of like the person that should be managing a Primo and Epico is not Rosa Mendez. It's Shelly Martinez, to be totally honest. So, Shelly, if you get a job with WWE, you can thank Soro and Disney for it. So, I know you're not, but I mean, still, it's good to think about. Sin Cara is out. I mean, Mystico is a flop, and Sin Cara as a character is pretty much done. I think at this point, I'm going to go with what was said on Twitter, and I'm just going to say right now, why don't you just put Sami Zayn back in the El Generico hood when he gets to WWE and let him be your luchador. So, I think that's a great idea. But you're not going to. I do want to see the Sami Zayn Antonio Cesaro match on NXT next week. 2 out of 3 falls. God, I can't wait. So, yeah, that was Raw this week. And, oh yeah, The Miz and Fandango feuding. I told you so. And I'm going to enjoy this because this is the battle of which t-shirt I wear more. Bray Wyatt, of course, beats R-Truth. And still no direction for Bray Wyatt yet. Kane's going to be off television for quite a while. So you don't have anybody to sick him on quite yet. You could sick the Wyatt family on Daniel Bryan, but I really like to see them work together, but you can't really do that until you turn the Wyatt's face, and I know that's going to go somewhere down the road, but not quite yet. Bryan and the Wyatt family against the Shield and Randy Orton would be an awesome match for Survivor Series, but you'd have to turn the Wyatt family face by, at the latest, maybe mid-October to be able to make that work. And given the fact that they just pretty much guillotined Kane, I don't know how they would do that at this point. I don't really have much faith in WWE Creative. I'm sure most people don't. But they make the money and I don't. So I just throw out booking ideas. I do the armchair booker ideas. So there's always that. So, yeah, that was Raw, and entertaining show, really was. A lot of questions still unanswered. That's what Raw does. Raw does really well with answering questions that you want answered and making brand new ones, so you have a lot more to think about somewhere down the road. So, that was Raw. We will be talking WWE yet again on Saturday, and I promise you I'll do my best to try to do it on Saturday. Actually, Mom leaves Saturday morning, so, I will hopefully go back to my normal rotation, and I will be able to do NXT and SmackDown on Saturday. And if I'm able to do that, we'll also discuss awesomeness, great NXT matches. I cannot wait. Sami Zayn and Tony Cesaro, 2 out of 3 falls on NXT. Looking forward to that. SmackDown's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. I think it's going to be the Shield against Dolph Ziggler, Big Show, and Mark Henry, and that's going to lead up to Night of Champions, which will be Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins against Big Show and Mark Henry with the WWE Tag Team titles on the line. And Dean Ambrose puts the U.S. title on the line against Dolph Ziggler. I'm pretty sure that's where we're going with Night of Champions. You pretty much can book that pay-per-view right now. And I'm sure I would be most likely wrong, but it's the right direction to go. So, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them. Do leave a comment. Do subscribe, and share these on your social media. You can share them on Facebook, share them on Twitter. You can share them anywhere you want, and if you like them well enough, I don't know if you can put videos on Instagram, but if you can put it on Instagram. That's fine. If you want to tweet me and let me know how I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you don't like what you see, if you don't want to watch again, if you want to watch all the time, if you do watch all the time, feel free to tell me about it. Suro and Disney at Twitter. You can follow me. It's at Suro and Disney. If you want to send me an email, send your comments, quotes, and opinions on anything you want about Pop as a network and everything else under the sun, you're more than welcome to at suroanddisney@gmail.com. And if you want to friend me, you're more than welcome to. I do accept friend requests. Owen Disney on Facebook. So, until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I gotta say about that.